On a dark and cold night, Khalid took the last night train from one city to another. The train was almost empty, except for a few passengers who looked like ghosts sitting in complete silence. Khalid sat in his seat near the window, leaning his head on the cold glass, watching the darkness of the night devour the scene. As soon as the train started, Khalid noticed something strange. The small advertising screen in front of him was displaying a mysterious message. "Please get off at the next station, even if it is not your destination." Khalid thought it was a technical error, so he ignored the message. But a few minutes later, he heard a faint voice from the speakers, barely audible whispers. He felt a shiver run through his body. The train suddenly stopped at a completely deserted station without a name or identification signs. The station was dimly lit, and the seats looked covered in dust. Khalid looked around and found that all the passengers had left the train without him noticing. He stood there in shock and shouted, "Is there anyone here?" But the answer came from the darkness in a strange, echo-like voice. "You're late." Khalid rushed towards the train door, but it suddenly closed so forcefully that it made him recoil. He tried to look out the window and saw the reflection of his face, but it wasn't his face, but the face of a stranger with an evil smile. The station began to gradually transform, the walls moving as if they were breathing, and the floor opened up to reveal a dark corridor extending downward. Khalid had no choice but to enter, as the walls of the train began to approach him as if they were trying to crush him. When he went down to the corridor, he found a small waiting room, its walls covered with old photographs. His face appeared in every photo, but he was surrounded by people he had never seen before. He approached one of the photos and noticed that the people in it were moving slowly, staring at him with empty eyes. Suddenly the lights went out, and he heard the sound of approaching footsteps. He tried to get back on the train, but he disappeared completely. A tall man wearing black clothes appeared in front of him, his face featureless. He spoke in a calm but deep voice. "You chose the wrong path, and now you will stay here forever." Those were the last words Khalid heard before darkness swallowed him up, and he suddenly found himself sitting in the waiting room wearing different clothes. He was now part of the pictures on the walls, waiting for the next victim to arrive on the train.